Good day, Wizards. Do you want to read any of these? I enjoy
Sure.
reading them.
This
But,
is from
you know,
Kevin.
yeah.
Hi, Kevin. I think that most of your clients are long-term advertisers running 52-week campaigns. Many companies start their advertising journey by advertising for a few weeks or for a few months.
Mhm.
How do you help them to shift their thinking on this, or do you? When a new client comes to you, are they already in the mindset of becoming a household name by consistently advertising? What advice can you give us? Oh man, the hard advice, the
Mhm.
really hard thing to do is quit selling 12-week schedules,
Yeah.
right? Your sales pitch is always, I'm sorry, we only do 52 weeks. How long do you intend to stay in business, Mr. Advertiser? Because that's how long your ad campaign timeline should be. So when I was running a radio station, you'd hear that, right? You guys have all heard this, right? Oh, I tried radio one time. It didn't work. What did you do? Well, we bought whatever package they had, and it was, a 13-week deal, and we got
Yeah.
mentions on some ball game and it's like, well, you sold them something that didn't work. It was never going to work, especially if they're a long product purchase cycle. It's never going to work if they're only on for a few months or a few weeks. And don't be afraid to tell people that. Say, look, I can sell you 13 weeks or 12 weeks, but I can tell you it's not going to work. Because
Yeah.
it's not till you get the third or fourth invoice that the little plants are going to finally start creeping up above the soil, and you're not going to harvest them for another few months after that.
Yeah.
So if you get in your mind that you're pitching long-term business, then you'll actually succeed at it, because they won't feel like there's another option. I mean, you can always cave, I guess, but we've actually had radio station owners in the class, and I don't know whether they've done it or not, but I've heard Roy tell them, look, just figure out what your total inventory for the year is. Divide that by whatever number gets you a really good, like, 3-frequency schedule. And that's how many clients you can have, and go out and sell them each one of those packages. When you sell the last one, you're sold out for the year. Done. And all of those businesses will have success, because they're on a schedule that's going to guarantee it. As long as you write good ads for them,
Mhm.
everything's going to be peaches and cream. But I don't know what else to tell you.
I'm going to give the point counterpoint on this one.
Okay.
Right? This is not what I would advise doing necessarily, but I think it might have a chance of working. So if you don't get to choose, like, the best case scenario is what Dave's talking about. If you have the leverage, Kevin, to tell everybody, stop selling short. We don't do that anymore. There's other radio stations that do that, and they're not us. But if you can't do that and you have to work with people, then I would do the address and dismiss method, which is, I would just be honest about what short term is good at and what it's not good at.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh yeah.
And then be honest about what long term is good at and what it's not good at. And then I would say, okay, look, I can sell you an 8-week, 12-week package. That does not work at branding. It fails completely at branding. But if you have an actual valuable call to action that you need to hit in the next 12 weeks, and we write the ad well enough, it will work like gangbusters.
Mm-hmm.
But if we try to do it a second time, it will fail completely. So you get one shot at that 12-week schedule,
Yeah.
and the offer has to be incredible, and the ad has to be great, and then it will work. But just so you know, it will never work again. And then,
Well, yeah.
and then you're gonna have to change the storyline if we ever do this again. But we can do that if your goal is long-term repeat business, then 12 weeks will absolutely not accomplish that, and I'm really sorry.
The other thing that is possible for a shorter schedule, if you do it right, is events. Or like the Andy's frozen custard story,
Right.
where you say, okay, we want to give people a sample of something, and we've only got 1,000 of them, and we're doing it on Saturday, and so you're gonna have to be here on Saturday if you want the free thing, and you schedule that. I mean, that's obviously a really short schedule,
Yeah.
but you want to go like 1 or 2 ads an hour back in time to where you run out of money for what you wanted to spend on it.
Yeah.
So if you're going to spend $10,000 on that, figure out what an ad costs and schedule them. It may only be a week's worth.
Yeah. So if the solution is that if people just tried your customer's thing, they would come back, then you can pull off a 12-week a lot better. If it's a service industry where someone's need shows up every 5 years, that's never going to work.
Yeah.
You can't have someone sample a plumbing job.
But I promise you, man, the people that say radio didn't work are the people that just got sold the wrong schedule and got ads written that weren't that good.
And I've said that to somebody before. It's like, look, the reason it didn't work is because your radio station failed you. It's they failed at explaining to you how radio works.
Yeah.
They just wanted to take your 12 weeks worth of money, but they weren't willing to be honest with you about how this industry worked and the effective communication. Is that helpful, Kevin? Or is that just more noise in the wind?
Yeah, no, that is helpful. I'm what I was really looking for, and I got some of that, is just language that maybe you found is impactful to someone who's really doesn't know what they're doing with advertising because they're a new business or they're just grown to the point where they're ready to start spending and they don't get it. And so they you know, they need some encouragement, but some maybe smart ways to explain that to them.
Yeah. I think I've always used it as, and you've heard it, but I've always used the explanation as, like we just said, it's advertising is no different than dating and relationships. And it takes time for people to get to know you and to build trust, and then for them to trust you. And in a normal relationship, you can spend your time and emotional energy to create that connection. And advertising, you have to spend money. And that's how it works. And so if your goal is a bunch of one-night stands, well, then, yeah, let's do a 12-week campaign and dress you up real nice, you know, and give you some great pickup lines. But if your goal is a long-term relationship, then we got to spend the money to get there.
Yeah. It's time. That's
the
biggest factor.
Cool. Thanks, Kevin.